Ambassador Zefkari's crystalline form trembled as he read the intelligence report for the third time. The holographic display showed impossible numbers human settlements spreading across 17 star systems, mining operations on 43 worlds, and a fleet that dwarfed anything the Galactic Council had ever assembled. "This cannot be accurate," he whispered to his aide, a nervous Velquran whose tentacles writhed anxiously. "I've verified it personally, Ambassador. The humans ... they've been busy." 50 years. It had been 50 years since the Council voted to expel humanity from galactic civilization. The decision had been unanimous, well, almost. Only the elderly Archon Veltar had abstained, muttering something about underestimating the pack hunters. The charges against humanity had been severe: excessive aggression, failure to respect established territorial boundaries, and most damning of all, their tendency to form emotional bonds with other species rather than maintaining proper diplomatic distance. The final straw came when human colonists on Kepler 442b had refused to evacuate when the indigenous Zephyrians requested their sacred burial grounds be left undisturbed. Instead of leaving, the humans had learned the Zephyrian language, participated in their burial ceremonies, and somehow convinced the previously isolationist species to form an alliance. "Barbaric," the Council had declared. "Humans corrupt the natural order." Now, as Zefkari stared at the holographic map, showing human influence spreading like wildfire across the Outer Rim, he wondered if they had made a terrible mistake. "Commander?" Sarah Chun stood on the observation deck of the UES Defiance, watching the construction of New Geneva Station. The massive orbital platform would serve as the capital of the newest human territory, bringing their total to 19 fully autonomous systems. Not bad for a species that had been kicked out of polite galactic society. "Ma'am," her communications officer called out, "we're receiving a priority transmission from Admiral Reyes." "Put it through." The weathered face of Admiral Marcus Reyes appeared on the main screen, his expression grim but determined. "Sarah, we've got movement from Council space. 3 reconnaissance fleets heading toward our border worlds. It seems our rapid expansion has finally gotten their attention." Chun nodded. They had known this day would come. "What are your orders, Admiral?" "Implement Protocol 7. It's time to show the Council what humanity has learned from 50 years of exile." Across human space, the message went out simultaneously, not just to human worlds, but to their allies, the Zephyrians with their mastery of energy manipulation, the Insectoid Kiting Collective with their unparalleled manufacturing capabilities, the nomadic Void Runners with their knowledge of hyperspace navigation, and dozens of other species that the Council had dismissed as primitives or unworthy of membership. What the Council had failed to understand was that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their numbers. It was their ability to see potential where others saw only problems. While the Council maintained strict hierarchies and treated client species as subordinates, humans formed partnerships. They didn't conquer worlds. They built communities. The Zephyrians, grateful for human respect of their traditions, had shared the secrets of zero-point energy extraction. The Chitin Collective, amazed by human concepts of individual worth within a collective structure, had revolutionized manufacturing with hybrid biomechanical systems. The Void Runners, touched by human curiosity rather than fear of their nomadic lifestyle, had taught them to navigate the dangerous but incredibly fast hyperspace currents that the Council considered too risky to use. Ambassador Zefkari's worst fears were confirmed when the Council's reconnaissance fleets returned. The reports were unanimous and terrifying. Humanity hadn't just built a fleet. They had built an empire based on voluntary association and mutual benefit. Their technology was decades ahead of Council standards. Their worlds were thriving, and their military capabilities were beyond anything the Council could match. "How?" Council Chairman Rexelon demanded, his massive reptilian form looming over the assembly. "How did they advance so quickly?" "They did what we told them was impossible," Archon Veltar replied, his ancient voice carrying across the chamber. "They made friends instead of subjects. They shared instead of hoarded. They included instead of excluded. The emergency session devolved into chaos as various council members tried to assign blame. Some called for immediate military action, others for diplomatic outreach. A few suggested it was time to reconsider humanity's exile, but it was too late for simple reconciliation. When the official delegation from the Galactic Council arrived at New Geneva Station, they were met not by defeated refugees begging for readmission, but by representatives of the Terran Alliance humanity and its 47 allied species. Admiral Reyes, now Supreme Commander of the Alliance fleet, sat across from Ambassador Zefkari in the station's diplomatic suite. The human was calm, professional, and utterly unmoved by the Council's attempts at intimidation. "We come offering renewed membership in the Galactic Council," Zefkari began, "with appropriate adjustments to your previous disagreements with our policies." Reyes smiled, and somehow that expression was more unsettling than any threat. "Ambassador, I think you misunderstand the situation. We're not interested in rejoining your council." "Then what do you want?" "Nothing from you. We've built something better." Reyes gestured to the viewport where ships from dozens of species moved in perfect coordination. "You taught us that we didn't belong in your club, so we built our own. This is impossible. You cannot simply ignore the established galactic order." "We're not ignoring it," Reyes replied. "We're replacing it. Your council represents maybe a quarter of galactic civilization. The Terran Alliance represents everything you left behind, all the species you deemed unworthy, all the worlds you considered too primitive, all the cultures you thought were irrelevant." As if summoned by his words, the massive form of a chiton collective shipped a cloak nearby, followed by a squadron of Zephyrian energy fighters and a formation of sleek Void Runner vessels. 50 years ago, you told us we were too emotional, too chaotic, too willing to break your precious rules," Reyes continued. "You were right, and that's exactly why we succeeded where you failed." The meeting ended with the council delegation's hasty departure. Within a year, 3 more council species had applied for alliance membership, drawn by the promise of true partnership rather than mere membership in a hierarchical structure. History will record that humanity's exile from the Galactic Council wasn't their defeat, it was the beginning of their greatest victory. They had proven that sometimes being kicked out of the wrong club is the best thing that can happen to you. In the end, Earth didn't just build a fleet. They built a new way of existing among the stars, one partnership at a time.